Hello, this is the video answer key to the third page of Unit B, Worksheet 2. In our packet, it's page 45. If that changes every year, yours might be different. Anyway, the first question asks you to multiply the number 20,000 by 500,000. If you used your brain and tried to just do this with mental math, you might end up seeing that this number is supposed to be 10 million. When we write that in scientific notation, though, if you did this on your calculator, this number, 2 times 10 to the 4th, times 5 times 10 to the 5th, would equal, you do your multiplication of 2 times 5, so that's 10. And then separately, you add the exponents, 10 times 10 to the 9th. So maybe you could do this in your head in the ways that you have learned in math class. When you multiply numbers with exponents, you add the exponents together. So it should be 10 times 10 to the 9th. But your calculator is going to report answers in scientific notation. 10 times 10 to the 9th is the same as 1 times 10 to the 10th. This little e, it stands for scientific notation. So the other way of saying it is 1 times 10 to the 10th. So in this class, we are going to try to use scientific notation to represent very large numbers, which means you can only have one number in front of the decimal. So even though this number is the same value, these two things are equal, the correct way to show a very large number like 10 million would be to say 1 times 10 to the 10th. So we just covered this question though. The capital E in a calculator, it just means times 10 to the whatever power you're talking about. So for example, 1 times 10 to the 10th is the same as saying 1e10. So those two things are equal. If you look at question 9, this is like the most common mistake for people who use their calculator incorrectly. So obviously, the number 2.5 times 10 to the 5th divided by 2.5 times 10 to the 5th should be 1. Right? This is just the division of the same number. Even though it's a big number, it should be 1. However, if you're not careful about how you enter it into your calculator will think that you mean 2.5 times 10 to the 5th divided by 2.5. It's as if like it had parentheses here. And that number is not 1. This is like 10,000 or 100,000. Now this would be 10,000. Then multiply it by 10 to the 5th. So if your calculator does not have a sign for the order of operations to follow, it's going to use this operation first, this large number divided by only 2.5, and then it's going to take the quotient of that and then multiply it by 10 to the 5th. So it's really important that if you have a large number in the denominator, like a number in scientific notation, if you are going to use this format, times 10 to the 5th, as the way you type it in your calculator, you really have to use parentheses in the denominator. But the other option is if you use that function that we talked about in class, where you use second comma, the EE function, that will tell the calculator that this is all one number. So if you were to write this number instead as 2.5 times 10 to the 5th divided by 2.5 E5, now this tells the calculator that this is all one number. You should divide it by this large number instead of just by 2.5. Okay, the next 6 questions are asking you to just do calculations to make sure you do it right. So here are the answers to these practice questions. So if you want to pause the video and review them, that would be fine. Otherwise, have a great day.